Thank you for joining us today. My name is Marta Fernández Alarcón. I am the Secretary General of the Spanish Business Council, and I would like to welcome you to this webinar with Terracotta. To present this webinar, we have here today one amazing expert, is Philippe Thirion, Managing Director of Terracotta. His company is helping businesses across their manpower and corporate services. And of course, Terracotta is a member of the Spanish Business Council, and I am really thankful for all their collaboration and all their support. They are always there for us and for all our members. We have a very close relations with them, and we know that all the members of the chamber are working with Terracotta. You know that in the Spanish Business Council, one of our main goals from the chamber is to be an international community. And although most of the members of the SBC are Spanish, but not all of them are, as for example, Terracotta. And with all our members, we are creating an amazing platform to share ideas, to do networking, and find ways of collaboration and make businesses in the UAE. Okay, I don't want to waste time to our amazing speaker today, so Philippe, you can go ahead. At the end, you will have some question and answers, and I will be there to support your, to read them and to ask you different things. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. Bonjour. First of all, I'd like to thank the Spanish Business Council for the opportunity today to speak and to talk about not just Terracotta, but how to do business in the UAE. As you see, we are in this activity for now the past 10 years. We came to that activity onto this company today because I have been facing this type of issues when I was living and working in another world with other company in the region. I'm not always understanding how to do business in the country you need it to be. So this is what I will try to discuss today and to present the different opportunities, ways. What I usually say is that there is not one good solution or one solution, but there are different options, and these different options need to be considered in order to optimize the how to do business and how to do ease of business in the UAE. So first of all, doing business in the UAE, a lot of time company comes to us and said, okay, I want to do business in the UAE and I want to set up a company, I want to set up a branch, I want to, so they are, and this is one of the options. It's not the only option. You can also use an outsourced service provider to support you to do your business. As company in the UAE, you have to get to the definition of the proper vocabulary. Are you talking mainland or are you talking free zone? And that's already, you have entered in question mark. Mainland, you could have a company, yes, but is it a rep office? And the rep office is, as the word rep means, is representative office. It means that this company, this office, we will have a physical office, we will have a trade license, but is not able to invoice. It's just for the sales representative. The branch of a foreign company is also a possibility. And the branch, as I would say, the term branch is like in a tree. The branch is completely linked to the trunk, which means that the branch of a foreign company is completely linked on. It means that the activity of a branch needs to be the same as the one of the headquarters in the foreign country. The account of this branch will need to be audited and will go back to the headquarters. It's not an independent company, it's just a branch. An LLC, today, when people talk about LLC, it's a new chapter since started in February 2021, where LLC used to be 49.51%. Today, it's 100% in some activities. It could be any percentage, so 1 to 99 today, and it all depends of what activity you are in, which market you are going to go to, and in a nutshell, who are you going to invoice, and who is going to pay the bill where. And these are all the questions that you need to understand when you talk about an LLC, because yes, today you can have a 100% owned foreign company LLC, but then you will need to have specific activity, specific actions, and in the registration. And I am talking on, it's only recently that the SPC, the Supreme Petroleum Council, is given as a registration to 100% foreign-owned companies. But there are other registrations that still need 1% or some of a local partner, or used to call in the past sponsor. You could do business in the UAE even if you did not set up. You could have agent and you can work here. It all depends about the timeline, about the resources that you have to put in place, the time that will take to set up or not. And at the end of the day, your client will be the one decided what is the way he would like to do business with you. So you have to understand this type of profile. Free zone company, the legal side, you could have a branch or you could have an LLC, no issue. But opening in a free zone means that you are in a free zone, so which means that you can work globally, regionally, but you cannot work in the mainland or as a mainland company because you're in a free zone. Few important points. When you say you do have a company, you do open a trade license. A trade license is only the first part of the adventure. The trade license is the visible part of the iceberg. Why? Because the trade license gives you the name registration, give you the trade license number, but you still need to have what is called here establishment card. You still need to have quota. You still need to have, by the way, if you want to do business, you need a bank account. So opening a bank account is also one important step of this challenge. When you say, I'd like to have a trade license or I'd like to open a company, you will have to consider all these steps before you can start your business. So this is why how you go to business and how you get to business in the UAE is quite important to understand which way is optimized for your activity, your client, on the resources and time that you have. To do all this, I would say that you do have two things. You are already set up in the UAE or you are not yet set up in the UAE. If you are in the UAE, you have already done your setup. But it's not because you have your setup that you are free of challenges. You might need to put some of the people from your headquarters. So EOR or PO, so the employer of record activity is important for you. The staffing can be important for you. The recruitment, you will need to consider recruiting people with a local knowledge. You will need to payroll your people because on payrolling, obviously, we all believe that, yes, of course, we will have to payroll the people. But here in the UAE, we have the so-called WPS system, the wage protected system. And you have to make sure that you comply, because if you don't comply with this, you will have some so-called luck and you won't be able to work properly with the administration and with your business. You will need a PRO, whether it's internal or external, but you will have to handle all the PRO's activities, which will be having your establishment card, having your registration for different things, or going to government entities. Definitely, most of the things today are said to be smart or online, but you still need to have a proper understanding and to be able to move things in a timely manner. If you're not set up, you could still use, you can still work in the UAE, either because you are going to set up and you need to have a business setup way of doing, because opening is not that simple. Opening is not that obvious because you do have many different options on many things that you need to consider. PO staffing are also things that you could use even before you are set up to start your projects and to work here in the UAE. One important thing that you have to have in mind in the UAE, like in all countries, but here you do need a work permit to work. And when I say you do need a work permit, it means that even local national people do need a work permit. So if you need a work permit, the work permit will need to be attached, will need to be linked to something which is called the visa. And there is a difference. The work permit is linked to the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization, the so-called former Ministry of Labor, and the visa is linked to immigration. So you have an employee who is coming to work in the UAE. He will need a resident visa, because without a resident visa, he will not be able to stay in the UAE and he will not be able to have a work permit. But to work, you need a work permit. The resident visa is not just a resident visa. You have to have local health insurance. You will need your Emirates ID. You will or will not need to have dependents of the family visa. You will be able to open a bank account, but you have to go through the WPS payroll process. As an employee, you do need your salary. As an employer, the salary has to be paid through the WPS. The employer has to give you, by the law, the so-called workman compensation and other type of insurance, like in some cases, third-party liabilities on professional indemnity. So this is going to allow you to work and will make your work permit legit. This work permit can be linked to another type of visa, which is called the mission visa. In some cases, you will need to bring people to work in the UAE, but you are not going to employ them for a long time. So with this mission visa, you are able to be in the UAE for the duration of 90 days, unable to work, having a work permit. But in that case, the work permit from the mission visa and the mission visa itself does not give you an Emirates ID, does not give you the possibility to sponsor your family, because you're here on a mission maximum 90 days. You are here with no bank account, but you will be here with a proper work permit, a proper WPS payrolling system, because you do need to be paid, and you will be covered with some of the insurance. Today, and from the recent past, there are other type of visas that came up. Okay, so dependent, if someone is coming here to work, he got a resident visa with a work permit, and his family, his spouse, could be here in the UAE, but is not allowed to work. The person has a visa resident, but doesn't have a work permit. So if that person wants to work, it will be necessary to give that person a work permit. And this work permit is given always by the company employing the employee, or a so-called manpower license. You have seen and you have noticed that, okay, more and more control in companies where you have to have the sponsor of your work permit visa should be the one employing you. So employing someone is a work permit, employing someone is WPS, it's a payrolling. So today, with being a dependent, you can work, but to work, you don't need a work permit. You have a golden visa, you can attach a work permit to the golden visa. So some people today have a 10 years resident visa, golden visa. They are supposed to enjoy life in the UAE, or if they need or want to work, they will need to attach a work permit to this. So that's quite important. And the work permit, as I said, is really linked to the fact that the person needs to work for the company giving him work permit. Bracket on this, it's that in some cases, to work in some specific places, you do need a specific work permit. By so, I mean that some activities in Abu Dhabi do require an Abu Dhabi work permit on an Abu Dhabi resident visa. Why? Because I'm talking about this so-called security pass, the security pass being the CISPA to access any critical infrastructures, whether they are within the oil and gas, within the nuclear plant, or the military base. You do need a specific access card, and this access card has to be linked to a work permit, to a visa. On both work permit and visa will need to be from Abu Dhabi. So that's quite important, because if you have employees who already have a visa in Dubai but need access on this critical infrastructure place, they will not be able to get it because they do have a Dubai visa. So that's quite a significant point for who is your client, where do you need to work. You need to understand where you will need your work permit from and where, and the same for the resident visa. Now I'm talking about the employer of record. Employer of record is that you have your own employees. You want them to work in the UAE, and whether you have an entity or not, whether you're established or not, you are not going to employ them under your structure, but you want them to work in the UAE legally. You will need to go through an employer of record, which means that a Manpower license. So that will allow you to have this employee with a resident visa and a work permit, of course, because when you work, you need, as I said, a work permit. Or it could be through the work permit with a mission visa. The mission visa having some characteristics, as I said, it's a 90 days max. It's a single entry, so which means that as soon as the person will leave the country through immigration by road or by air, the mission visa will be void, not cancelled. You still need to do the cancellation, but will be void. So the work permit only, and as I said, you would need the work permit for the person that is sponsoring you, for who you work, or if you go through an EOR, anyone can work anywhere. The work permit will be given to people who are dependent, or who are having a golden visa, or who are GCC nationals, or who are working for a company, but you want them to temporarily work for you. This work permit can be done by the Manpower company. As soon as you do have this, and again, because you do have a work permit, you will need to go through the WPS on the payroll system. The payroll system is that you do employ the people with an MOHRA, so a local work contract, which stipulates the characteristic of the package you're going to pay the person. As soon as you have written this down, this has to be paid every month. You don't pay, you have no other way, because the system through the bank will be going up to the government and showing that did you pay your employee and did you pay them the right amount? If you pay less than you're supposed to pay, or if you don't pay them, you are going to face a lock and then kind of penalties. Security pass could be done. So as I said, an EOR can do this and can also take care of the family visa. The other option that you would have is that, okay, the first part was talking about hiring your own employees, so people that you have already on your payroll somewhere outside the UAE, and you want them to work here. It's possible. You do want these people to be only available for you on the project, but has nothing to do in your manpower list here or outside. So these people work for you, but are not part of your employee list. We as staffing, we will take these people and we will provide you the information to select the right talent, and then we will onboard them with the visa, the work permit, and everything that they need to do and they need to have to work in the UAE under your request, but they will not be under your banner. So that's for the staffing. Recruitment, you have to think about this when you are going to work here or to establish, especially because today new criteria has been implemented by December, which is the Emiratization. And you do need, in some cases, to hire specific number of local Emiratis to work within your company, or I would say recruitment for any other type or classical. That you have to consider, so that you can select people with the right talent and the right knowledge and expertise of the local market and understanding. Payrolling, you are established and you do have your own license, you do have your own employees, but you might also consider for an ease of mind and an ease of process to outsource the payroll process. We could pay your employee in full compliance, which means that from the timesheet, the payslip, the payroll through the WPS on your behalf, on the behalf of the license and the company, is possible. So with the salary transfers, all this in the local compliance, taking into account all the HR part, which is the leave calculation, the gratuity, the sick leaves, whether it is the leave of holidays or anything. And this can be done in a complete compliance manner in an outsourced way. Same thing when we talk about PRO or GRO, and it's really depending on PRO, GRO for the government officer. You do have a trade license. As you know, every year you need to renew the trade license. You have new employees. Every time you need to process them the visa, the Emirates ID, do the biometrics, the medical. You do have to take care of the more, let's say, requirements, which are making sure that you have paid and you have your ratio of WPS. You do have all the registration that you need to renew your establishment card or whatever. These are actions that can be done internally, but that can be done outsourced. You do have a PRO, but when your PRO is on leave, or if you have an extra load of work, you might need to outsource your PRO load. On top of this action as a PRO, you do have some extra actions, which are, what about being fully compliant here? You need to have a trademark registered, you need to be VAT tax registered, you need to have some specific attestation. All this will be an ease of way for you to move quicker and more efficiently, because if not, it will take more time for you to achieve your goal. When you work in the UAE, you might also, as a person, consider that, okay, am I entitled for a golden visa? How do I do my family visa, my nanny visa? If this is taken care of, its cover, employees will be focusing more on their business than on their internal personal needs. There are many types of visas that can be prepared or can be supported, like the freelance, investor, or student. Every single visa has a specific commitment on a specific possibilities. It's not having a visa. It's not a graal. It's not that you can do anything because you do have a visa. So you have to be careful which one you have for doing what. As a business setup, I'm back to if you were not set up, you need to set up your business. Yes, but many questions will come up. Is it a mainland? Is it a free zone? How do I need? Why will I need to go and get more registration? Do I need office space? Can it be virtual? Do I need to get tax registration? How can I do the employee visa, the visa of the owner of the setup? So there are many questions when you start to say, I'd like to set up, and these are all the question marks that you would need to consider before you start your setup. Again, you do have ways to start doing business. So either you start the setup, you get people with a work permit with legally to work, and then they can work, or you can get them to work through an outsourced company. You can do your setup meantime, and you'll be ready with all your registration at the time you need. It's all a matter. Usually, I mentioned the word Tetris. It's like a game, Tetris game, depending of what you want to achieve, how long it's going to take. You put all the bricks in the right order, and it's more efficient from a cost, resource, and time process. This is what I wanted, and I hope I haven't been too details. So we, as you may have understood, we Terracotta are established in this activity for now 10 years. We are MOHRA licensed in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. We cover the 7 Emirates. We are working in a lot of sectors, whether they are, let's say, more from on the Abu Dhabi side, it will be the oil and gas, the nuclear, the defense, but the construction, the service, the hospitality, the education will be also in Dubai. So we cover a lot of sectors. We have so far been happy to serve over 100 clients mostly from Europe and local. We have covered over 1,500 employees in the UAE so far, working in all sectors, which make us very proud. As I said, usually for my ego, we did the firework of the New Year's in Dubai. We make the drone fly in the expo in 2021 or 2020 to 2021. We do have experts who are working on the rigs offshore. We do have people in the nuclear plant. But in fact, it's not us. It's our clients who are working in all these different sectors, and we are just here to be the connections for making them possible to work legally here. Our experience is that through this, we have been dealing with over 50 nationalities, which is quite interesting and challenging, but quite interesting. The team today within Terracotta is based with offices in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and we have a staff working dedicated on these activities, which is over 25 people. So that's who we are, where we came from. And as I said, this was not just, oh, we wake up on one day, we want to be this. It's because from my past experience, I face some specific needs. And every time we have a specific question, I didn't know where to go, and I get many different answers. And that's why we decided to have these 360 offers for companies that whether you are here or not, whether you work yet or not here in the UAE, we have possible solutions. You want to use us, you're more than welcome. Just a quick, and it's only one part of the clients and people we have been working with. So whether, as I said, many sectors, whether it's in energy, it's in defense, it's in mechanics, in hospitality or education. So this is who we are. We do work with local company and international company or company from big size company or even startup with 1 or 2 people. So thank you. This is, as I said, happy to offer you this 360 solutions. We will tailor it made for your business needs. Thank you very much.
Voy a terminar.
Okay, maybe there's some questions. Philippe, I think that you've explained amazingly. There's no questions.
Thank you.
For now, it was very clear, your explanation and all the information you gave. We can wait. Maybe there's someone who wants to clarify something.
Anything? So obviously, as said, we are open to questions here, but at any point of time, whenever there is a roadblock, usually that's a good entry point to make sure that we can support.
Okay, Philippe, we have a question. Is any service related to Emiratization?
The answer is yes, in the fact that today people will need to comply to Emiratization as different questions, but the first one is how to get the right Emirati. So first of all, do you know and do you have a clear understanding what is the rule that you have to comply with? And have you registered with NAFIS? Have you got the exact information that this is what you need to do to be compliant? So on this, yes, we could support you if you have this, and this is the easy first step. After this, if you need to hire Emiratis, we can support you to provide you with the profile of Emiratis that could help you to fulfill the ratio requirements. Then you do have through the system, you do have to have a number of Emiratis. You have no option except finding Emiratis and hiring them so that you could be compliant and avoid the issue of the penalties on the issue of getting the road blocked because you did not comply with Emiratization. The second way we can support is that if you understand exactly the number of unskilled people you have today, you might want to limit the increase of skilled people. And for this, you might use an EOR to support your skilled people. So that will avoid you to go up in the scale on needing even more Emiratis in the future. As you understood, in 2022, it was 2%. It's an additional 2, so which means 4 in 2023. It goes 6, 8, and 10 in 2026. So and you will have no escape on this. So the only way is to limit the increase, and limiting the increase will be going through the EOR solution.
Okay, they say thank you. But it's been hard times with that topic, they say. And I believe there's no more questions. Okay.
No issue. So,
No? Very, very clever. Oh, okay. So we can finish this webinar. So interesting. Thank you so much, Philippe. Thank you so much to Terracotta. Always very pleased and willing to collaborate with you. And if someone needs some information, additional information, or to clarify some point, just let us know, and I will put in contact. Okay, they say no question. It was very clear. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So obviously we can share the presentation, so that can be a support on to think about it. Obviously, the question will come when you have a roadblock somewhere. So at any point of time, don't hesitate to revert to us, to Marta, directly to us, and we will support you on solving your issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.